All right. Hello, everybody. Sabrina again. Back with some more landscape painting. So, we didn't have a video last Friday because my computer was acting a little badly. Sorry about that. But I did get most of the base painting is just done. I cleaned up the edges, and now I'm going into painting the actual lines for the line art. So I do this because I think that the black lines are kind of jarring, and I want this to look more painting-like than I just colored in a coloring page, you know? I want to put in a little more effort to this. So this is a new technique that I was taught by someone close to me, where they do the line art and then they make a clipping mask of the line art and paint that to be a more natural shade. So you can work in black line art and then change the color of it, which, I mean, as you can probably see, I think is coming out kind of nicely. When I start shading, I can incorporate this color in and just sort of layer it lightly over the image. So I think that's actually coming out kind of nice. And I'm gonna keep going with this color, and we're gonna do all of the brown rocks first. I think that's how we started originally too, so let's get to it. Okay. I should really use my navigator instead of dragging on my touchscreen, because I feel like it would make my life a little easier. Yeah. And now, the cool part is, because I'm on a clipping mask... hold on, let me get the right color. There we go. Because I'm on a clipping mask, I can just paint those lines and nothing else will get painted in the process, which is great. It's very handy. I would suggest it if you decide to do something like this. Clipping masks make everything super easy. I might do a video just on those at some point. Let me make this brush bigger since I don't have to really worry about painting outside of the lines too much, because I'm literally painting in the lines. Oh my god. Terrible joke. I'm full of them. But yeah. Keeps everything super neat, which is great when I'm just coloring in line art, you know? I really can't wait to get to the shading because it's like my favorite part. I have to remind myself not to like rush through things or they'll come out not nice looking? Bad looking? I don't know how I would phrase this. So yeah, it's kind of why we've been taking so long to get this done, because I do want it to look nice. And I take my time in a lot of things that I do. I don't know, I think it's good practice. I think this line over here should be green. So I'm gonna leave that black for now because I've not gone on to that color yet. There we go. If I can try to focus on just one color at a time, I'm gonna do that. Let's zoom out, see if I missed anything on the structure. A little bit down here. Here we go. Here we go. Perfect. I just realized the tip of that tree is kind of pink. I might fix that later. Yeah, I know I'm painting in certain areas that... Ooh, did I do something? I might have accidentally done something. Can I complete your request? Because more than one layer. Oh. Didn't notice that. Okay, there we go. Accidentally selected too many layers. Have you ever noticed that you're in Photoshop and your brush disappears? It's because you have caps lock on. It's weird. Sometimes my hand rests on the keyboard and I accidentally hit 20 buttons I didn't mean to. But I have this now, so I won't accidentally touch the icons on the screen, which is great. This just helps me glide over the surface of my surface, which is what I draw on a Microsoft Surface. Okay. Yeah, and this kind of brings it from, this is kind of cartoony to something a little bit more natural for a painting. Because you'll notice in a lot of photos, the line art isn't actually just true black. Because that can be very distracting and a little too, it separates things a little bit too much. So this can be really nice. Something else that I did was after I did all of the base coloring and I flattened the layers. And I'll make something separate for shading. I'm not really too worried about coloring outside of the lines for that. I just do that for my base coloring. Just makes my life a little easier there. Especially for this, because it's a landscape, so... Believe it or not, this is a little looser than I normally do things. Yeah, but I think for the next thing I want to do something a little more abstract, like an abstract coloring page, something more that I can just focus on the colors and that's it. And we can do some fun little color blending techniques, make it look really cool. Yeah. I don't know why just coloring in the line art can be so chill, you know? Let's see, did I do all of the brown rocks? Oh, I skewed my page. Whoops. I think I did. I think I did. I'll probably catch something later, but I think I got everything there. Okay, I'm gonna do the green next because it's a major color. Ah! Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna pick up this color and make it a little darker. See how I like... did I do that right? Yeah, I did, okay. See how I like this. I think that's pretty good. There we go. It's great to base off of this, so I have a specific kind of shading technique that I do where I'm going to base it off of the line art color and go down, but then I'm going to go over it with like a light, I guess you could call it like a light wash of that color where I don't press down all the way with my pen, and since it's pressure sensitive, it just sort of does one slightly transparent layer over the top, and that makes the shadows darker and adds more of a natural shading to the area. I think it looks pretty nice. We'll see if I like it for this painting later. Yeah, I think today's going to be mostly filling in the line art. Yeah. I'll just get rid of some of this. I know I'm gonna forget about it later. It's probably a couple that I have to clean up anyways, but we'll get there when we get there. No, that's definitely supposed to be green. There we go. Okay. I feel like that's supposed to be green. It's not going to be super noticeable in the long run, but you know, it's weird because other people may not notice your mistakes the way you notice your mistakes, you know? Yeah. Rule number 1 of art, though, is know when you're done. Because it's really hard to recognize when you're done. You just kind of keep going. Because it never feels right. Except for that rare time where it does, in which case, man, does that feel good. I think after this tree we're gonna zoom out a little bit and take a look at what those 2 trees and the grass look like from afar, so we can kind of get an idea of how we're doing with our line art painting. Here we go. Okay, let's zoom out. Yeah, that's a good color. And it's gonna look a little lighter and everything. The lines aren't gonna be as obvious, which is good because in nature we don't have black lines outlining things. So that's kind of what I want to go with, especially for my landscape. Yeah. It's gonna get way more intensive once we start doing the actual shading, but yeah. If you guys remember, if anyone was at the DAE in March on Saturdays, you might have seen one of my paintings, which is my current background, on my desktop, which I may or may not show you guys. That took me 3 months because I kept putting way too much stock into the little details. But I'm pretty happy with it. The line art is black, which I might go back and change. Art is never truly done, but you do have to know when to stop and come back to it. Or else you'll drive yourself nuts. No one likes to be driven nuts. Should really go in with a smaller brush. Just fixing up some of these edges where I definitely went too far out of the lines. Oh hey, look! A stray piece of rock. Okay. And because the line art color doesn't change much, I can just kind of pick it up straight from the lines. I'm using a brush that doesn't really use pen pressure to make the color lighter or darker, so it helps. Next tree. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, a smaller brush does help me have to do less fixes later. I don't know if it really saves time though. I don't think either of these things really save time, but I'm not really testing, so. Yeah. Since I'm inside of the tree, I can probably go a little bigger. There we go. But yeah, this is better than just tracing over the whole thing because I don't want the line art to be black, you know? It's way easier to just, you know, color and it only recognize the line arts. But yeah, maybe when this is over I'll have a landscape painting to be proud of, which would be nice. Yeah, I don't think we ever stop learning new things, which is pretty cool. Pretty exciting that there's always something new for us to pick up. Yeah, here we are with the trees. Almost done with this one. I feel like the trees are gonna take the longest to paint in, just because there's so many of them and they're spread out. I have to keep traveling between them. But it's nice when they're against something that's colored, that's not colored in yet, because I'm not super worried about coloring outside of the lines in that case. I'm more worried with the brown because I don't want to have to go in and fix very specific spots, you know? But I think there's probably no avoiding it at some point. I'm also not just going in with a big brush because sometimes that slows down my computer. It's a little better to go in with a small brush just for the safety that it won't crash midway through me painting, you know? Speaking of, save. Always save. I've made this mistake so that you hopefully will not have to. But let's face it, we all make this mistake eventually. It's near unavoidable. We can do our best to avoid it. And when I actually paint in these trees, I mean, the shading is going to be different on them no matter what, but, you know. I'm probably going to do them in a little bit darker, but we'll see. We'll see. Because they're evergreens, and evergreens are a deeper green than everything else. First break. Okay, that is... what is that? Tree number 3? That rhymes. It's actually tree number 4, though. I missed my perfect opportunity to say tree number 3, but that's alright. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this one. See, now this one's near a bunch of brown line art, and I don't want to accidentally undo my work, so I'm just gonna do the outline first. Ah, see? Happens to the best of us. Oh no. Also, I wouldn't suggest doing everything in one stroke, because if you make a mistake and it's a particularly long portion that you've been painting, you're gonna end up hitting the undo button and undoing like 2 minutes worth of work. So pick up your pen every now and then. I'm like full of bad puns and rhymes today, wow. Yeah. I'm just trying to get these edges colored in, and then we'll go into the center. I can't tell if this thing is a tree or a bush. It's probably like a sapling or something like that. Yeah, once we get these edges colored in, we just go in with a bigger brush and do the center. Trying out different techniques to make this process a little smoother. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. That's nice. Okay. Just have to be a little careful by the tree trunk. So I didn't for some reason do that outline, but you know, tis what it is. That's nice, okay. And I'm sure there's a couple things I could do to improve this too. You know, always room for improvement. Just gotta be open to the critiques. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Oh, that's way too close. Okay. There we go. Nice. Okay. Lots of grass to color in. Lots of grass. Okay, there we go. Consider this portion of grass clean, colored. I don't know what direction my brain was taking with that sentence. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think these things are coming along fairly nicely. I wouldn't say quickly, because this is my first time doing this particular technique, but they're coming along nicely. There we go. And let's get this color back. You know what, I should really just switch this around, because these are going to be the two colors that I'm switching between right now. Make sure I've got that. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, we gotta make the brush smaller for that. Okay. Alright. Right against the rock, we have the grass kind of enveloping the edge of it. Yeah, okay. I think this one too. Just the bottom edge, because the top edge is all gray rock, I would think. Except for over here. Okay, alright, there we go. More grass. Yeah, there's a couple areas that I think I forgot to clean up, but no biggie. We'll get there. Whew. Yeah, in the game, these rocky structures aren't actually brown, but I feel like brown is a nice base color for a cliffside. And you go in with a few different colors and textures if you want. Plus, I don't know, I like this more than just basing everything in nearly all gray. Make it your own. There goes the wrist again. Okay. A few more trees. But yeah. This is gonna be what we're gonna be doing for a little bit, coloring in the line art, and then we're gonna get into the shading portion. But I don't think any of it is gonna take as long as well, the shading may take a little while. I take a long time when I do art, but you know. I never estimate time correctly, I feel like. Never. It's always off by a little bit. And I feel like this could have been rocks. But it's grass now. I've decided. This area is grass. Oh no. Okay. We have to get really close for this. Or, I mean, I guess I don't have to, because I haven't painted that in yet. I mean, it would help a little bit. Okay. Trees must have green outlines. And we're trying to match it as close to the shading shade. It's a really weird way to phrase that, but the same color as the shading I want for the line art. And when I start shading, I'm going to be using, you'll see, a brush that's more transparent. So you'll still kind of be able to see the line art, but it'll blend into the shading a little bit. Which just makes it look more natural. Yeah, hindsight, I feel like I should have done these trees a different shade of green, but we'll see if I can differentiate it when we start actually shading in the trees. We'll experiment with a couple different green tones, see what we like. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, throw them down in the comments, and I'll take a look at them when I get the chance to take a look at them. And I'll take them into account. Have something that you want me to paint in, throw it my way, and I'll give it a shot. Why not? But yeah. What are your favorite games? If you have a favorite game, maybe throw that down in the comments. I'd love to know. I like games like Elder Scrolls Online, but I also like well, most of the games that I like are fantasy based. I play a lot of D&D with my friends, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, because I'm a big old nerd, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wasn't done with the trees. Why'd I change colors? Oh dear. Oh, okay. Much better. Okay. I like games like ESO, Dungeons and Dragons, which isn't a video game, but it is a game. Mostly fantasy themed games. Can't wait for Baldur's Gate 3, for example. Which is Dungeons and Dragons based, but you know. My relaxing game of choice is Animal Crossing. Or The Sims. Build a house. Or make a family that lasts multiple generations. It's always fun. missed a portion of cliffside. Whoops. I will remember it for next time. So I think this one will be a little shorter than usual. Preliminary save, there we go. But we will continue the shading next time too. Don't know if this will be my last tree or not. I always say last one and I keep going. Big habit of mine. Oh, the top of this tree. He can't have a little hat. He has to join the rest of his green outlining. There we go. Much better. Did that not color in green? See, now I'm finding all of the little mistakes. All right. You know, Right. So, if you enjoyed this this video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want more notifications for when any of us are running videos. If you liked this class, then I would suggest you take digital drawing and coloring. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.